Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to a very special car. This is one of 36 manual transmission V12 Vantage Roadsters from Aston Martin. This particular car is a 2017 model year, and the owner Jackson, or rather his dad, has done no modifications to this. It is bone stock, and boy, is this a classy GT. I've driven a few V8 Vantages from this generation in the past, both the 4.3 liter and the 4.7 liter models, and I love that car, especially the 4.7 liter version. Amazing engine, amazing chassis, excellent handling for a GT, but I always wondered how would that car feel, Aston's smallest car, with a V12 engine, the biggest engine that Aston Martin had to offer. Well, now it's time to find out. This is powered by a 5.9 liter naturally aspirated V12 engine, making 563 horsepower and 457 pound-feet of torque. Not quite 100 horsepower per liter, but pretty close, and this revs to around 7,000 RPM. We have this 7-speed dogleg manual transmission. My first time driving a dogleg, so excuse the poor shifting. It does have a bit of a learning curve. Luckily, we do have the ability to turn on auto rev matching, which I will try at some point during the drive. We've got double wishbone front and rear suspension, and this car weighs a little over 3,800 pounds. So a few hundred pounds heavier than the V8 Vantage, and especially because this is the soft top convertible version, the chassis rigidity is definitely going to be compromised here. So one interesting thing to note is that there are only 395 V12 S Roadsters produced globally. Only 116 of those had a manual gearbox, and 36 of those went to the USA. MSRP for this particular car, $266,000 back in 2017, and current market value is somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000, depending on mileage and spec. That puts it at right around 4 to 5 times the market value of a 4.7 liter V8 Vantage with a manual. Is it really that much better or more special of a driving experience? This car comes with carbon ceramic brakes, 3-stage adaptive dampers, and 19-inch wheels with staggered tires, 255 in the front, 295 in the rear. Love the interior. I love the 3-spoke Aston steering wheel. It's just the right size, smaller diameter than what you find in most cars, perforated leather, everything really high quality feel, stitched leather, it's hand built. It's not perfect in terms of the way it's put together, but it has that British charm to it. I love all the switch gear, very tactile. I mean, listen to this. It's so satisfying. The seats, actually, I feel like they could be a bit more comfortable. They're very beautiful to look at, but I think the lateral support is not quite what I'd want in a car like this, although it is easy to get in and out of. The moment I jumped into this car, I realized there's actually more space to the right of the throttle pedal compared to the V8 Vantage, so heel toe in this car is no longer an issue. I had a really hard time doing heel toe in the V8 models. Cool looking key with a glass piece up here where you can see the Aston emblem. Of course, to start this car up, you insert the key, and that V12 comes to life. Handbrake is on the left side, and I'm very thankful that there's a digital readout for which gear you're in, which is going to be needed because, again, I've never driven a dogleg manual before. Obviously, this is a convertible, but we are driving with the top up to preserve audio quality. So in terms of different drive modes, we've got a sport button and a damper button. For sport, we get heightened throttle response, and if you hold it, you'll see AM shift on, which gives us auto rev match. We're gonna start with it off, and for dampers, we'll keep it in the softer setting. First gear is all the way to the left and down. Second, that's a weird shift. Wow, just oodles of torque from low RPM. It's just a wave of power. Effortless performance. The V8, you really had to rev out to get the best out of it. This one seems like more of a low-end motor. Pretty long gearing here. Wow, this is a very quick car. Heel toe nice and easy. good throttle response without the sport mode engaged. But one thing I'm noticing right away is that this car feels heavy, over 3,800 pounds. And quite a few squeaks and rattles from the interior. I don't remember that being the case in the V8 Vantage. Good steering feel from this hydraulic steering rack. Quite heavy, but it loads up nicely in the corners and has good on-center feel. Wow, this engine. I actually think it doesn't make a super unique sound, at least with the windows up and the top up. It's a little bit muffled. Easy to heel toe. I have to keep looking down to see what gear I'm in because I can't trust this because my intuition is not there yet with the dog leg. Ooh, wow. There's some feedback, some noise from the steering. I think that's because of the relative lack of chassis rigidity. That might also explain the creaks and rattles from the interior. Let's lower the window a little bit so you guys can hear this engine. See that traction control light flickering away. There's just so much torque. Wow. The suspension does feel a little bit unsettled. It's both soft and a bit not that compliant at the same time. Brake feel is good, nice and firm pedal. But this car just feels heavy. So much torque, I can't get over it. And because it's naturally aspirated, you don't have to wait for it. It gives it to you right when you put your foot down. Loving this throttle response from the V12. It's not overly sensitive. Oh yeah. Well, let's try putting it into sport mode, and let's enable the stiffer adaptive damper setting. Yeah, over some of the bumps though, mid-corner, the car doesn't feel rigid. Whoa. It's traction limited. It's lively at that rear axle. On sport mode, the throttle response does get a lot more sensitive. I kind of like it without that enabled. Now let's try holding the sport button to turn on the AM shift auto rev match. So 5th gear. Let's try to go down to 4th. 3rd. Yeah, that works really well. Even when I just start accelerating in a straight line, any little bumps or cambers on the road, it causes a little bit of instability. The car just starts to tramline a little bit, the rear end starts to wiggle. It's not the most confidence-inspiring car to drive quickly, but this car is definitely defined by that engine. It's the centerpiece, this hugely powerful V12. On paper, it doesn't sound like anything too crazy. I mean, less than 500 pound-feet of torque, but it's the torque delivery that defines this engine. It's just effortless. It gives you the feeling of opulence, of excess. There's more torque than you would ever need from low RPMs, and that's what makes it feel special. It's not even really the sound for me. Let me try cracking the window again. Your 2nd gear. I mean, it's a nice sound, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly no screaming 599 GTB Ferrari engine. This doesn't rev nearly as high, doesn't make as much power per liter. It's really about that torque. Again, that's the defining feature. traction limited. It's so traction limited. I don't even have the traction control turned off, but it still lights up the rear tires a bit. And the adaptive dampers in sport mode, definitely too firm. I think driving it in normal is the way to go here for both the throttle response and the dampers. This is not really a sports car, if I have to be honest. It's more of a GT. The incredible hand-built interior, the drop-dead gorgeous exterior styling, the ability to drop the top and feel the wind through your hair, that's what this car's about. And of course that V12 engine. Let's do a little straight line pull. Wow, this thing is just, well, that's 6th gear. Whoops. Oh, hello, Mr. Turkey. This thing is just a wild animal in a straight line. Having to fight to keep the car on the road does add to the excitement. Very special car, but if I'm being perfectly honest, from a driving dynamic standpoint, the V8 Vantage, especially the 4.7 liter, is the superior car. It feels much lighter, more nimble, much more rigid, and actually the engine character and sound in some ways is a little bit more aggressive. Even though it doesn't have nearly as much low-end torque, it makes you work for the performance that little bit more, rewards you for winding out the engine, and it makes an incredible sound. I think it's actually a bit more aggressive sounding than this V12, believe it or not. 4 to 5, maybe even 6 times the market value of a decent example of a V8 Vantage 4.7 liter. That is a tough pill to swallow. But from a collectability standpoint and a rarity standpoint, obviously this car is on a totally different level. There are very few cars you can get that are this new and also have a V12 naturally aspirated engine and a manual transmission. That's what makes this car so special. But for someone like me who just wants an amazing driving experience in the canyons and on the road, I think the V8 Vantage is even more solidified in my mind as an absolute bargain. Reliability and maintenance costs aside, for let's call it $50,000 to $70,000, that's definitely the one to have. So big shout out to Jackson and his dad for giving me the opportunity to review this incredibly special vehicle. Let me know what you think about the V12 S Roadster down in the comments below. What other cars do you think capture this overall blend of exterior and interior beauty and that super desirable powertrain and transmission combo? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.